Norse paganism and Christianity have the same problem. Do you know what this problem is? It is the fact that both religions lack a universal doctrine. In other words, there is no right or wrong way to do things. This video is a rant. I was on Facebook and a Norse pagan post showed up on my feed. I decided to check out the comment section. There was a left-leaning Norse pagan and a right-leaning one going after each other. They were arguing over semantics and the right way to go about doing things. I found this amusing because Norse paganism doesn't have a universal doctrine. The canon for Norse paganism is the Poetic and Prose Eddas, but both texts were written late, and we can tell due to how prominent Odin is in the Eddas. It is highly likely that Tyr used to be more prominent than Odin and Thor in this pantheon, but Tyr would eventually end up getting cancelled, and Odin would end up replacing him. If you are a modern Norse pagan, then you are likely following this New Age Norse pantheon from the Eddas. While the ancient Nordic world likely put more of an emphasis on different gods, just like we know farmers in Scandinavia preferred Thor over Odin. I am not saying that people are practicing Norse paganism wrong in 2026, because I don't think there is a right or wrong way to practice this religion. But what I am saying is that Norse paganism has never had a universal doctrine. I understand the bickering, but I'm just tired of seeing it all the freaking time. The Bible is in a similar situation to the Poetic and Prose Eddas. It was created late. Most Christians have no problem accepting the New Age Christianity, but they will attack old school Christianity. I was reading an article on MSN. There was a non-religious couple in the UK, and they had a kid, and they wanted to name him Lucifer. The lady that was working behind the counter put up a fight. Lucifer is associated with evil. If you name your kid Lucifer, then he won't be able to find a job. He will go to jail, and he won't be able to enter certain countries, like New Zealand. I was reading this article, and it made me laugh. Why? Because Lucifer became associated with Satan in 1611. That is almost 1,300 years after the biblical canon was created. Do you know what this means? It's not biblical. A Christian took something that was post-biblical and accepted it as fact, even though it's not part of the canon. Meanwhile, I see Christians on YouTube argue that the Gnostic Christian texts are false, despite most of them being written before the biblical canon was even compiled. In fact, they might even be more Christian than the Bible itself. We will never know, because the early Gnostic Christians were wiped out by the biblical Christians. It is hard to determine how big the Gnostic population was, but we know the Christians that compiled the Bible were a minority within the early Christian population. There were many different denominations of early Christians. This religion has never had a universal doctrine that everybody must follow. What I'm trying to say is that there is no right or wrong way to practice these religions. I don't care if Christians bicker, but I'm tired of pagans bickering over stupid crap. Thanks for listening to my rant. Have a fantastic day or night.